Our next presentation deals with staging live brand events during the pandemic. Our speakers are Clare Wynne, President of M2W, and Rod Collins, President of Bulldog Mobile Billboards. Clare, take it away.
Thanks, John, very much, and thanks everyone for attending today. Wanted to just say a brief word about David Gottlieb's tracks presentation that I just sat through. It was excellent, and ours will totally complement what he had to say, especially the part about 73 to 80% of the consumers are adopting new behavior around how they shop, and this is about new behavior on getting products into their hands and going on site at retailers. Also, he pointed out that there is so much irregular consumer behavior. So before we get started, I just wanted to say a few words about M2W. We have been in business for over 23 years. Our entire purpose is to engage customers in memorable consumer experiences so that they end up really liking brands and using brands more. And we use all that data to figure out where to engage them, how to engage them. And we're now pivoting and turning, and that's a key word now, pivoting and the new normal. I know they're way overused. I'm sorry, but they're in here a few times. And you'll find that we also emphasize a lot of empathy now into our events with COVID. We're proud to create and activate experiences now that bring in a lot of empathy. And between Rod Collins and I, we'll be able to share quite a few things with you. I'm going to let Rod introduce himself. We've been partners a long time. He has all the great vehicles, and we do the logistics and execution. Go ahead, Rod.
So I want to say thank you to John as well and to everyone that's on with us this morning. And Claire has failed to say one thing, and that's how strong a management group she has created. I've done over 1,500 programs with our trucks. We have glass walled advertising trucks, billboard trucks, and LED or digital trucks. But Claire and I have had the opportunity to work together several times, especially with the glass walled trucks. And she just thinks of everything when we're doing these activations wherever around the country. So we have a number of vehicles and vehicle types that can help people do some interesting advertising. I'd like to say that I come up with each and every outstanding idea that has ever been executed in my trucks, but I don't. And a lot of these companies come to us and we don't tell them what to do. We may show them what has been done, but what we're really good at is saying when we hear their ideas, yes, we can do that. So let's go to that next screen, and Claire, you can take over again.
Oh, sorry about that. So from the inside out, this is how small live events that drove retail traffic have changed how you can benefit by immersing your brands in the changes that are outside of the traditional brick and mortar. So Rod and I are strategic partners as many off-site activities. Bulldog has the high visibility marketing vehicles, and we make it happen. So due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the lady on the right is now here you go again with a cliche, she is now the new normal of how we do product sampling. It used to be you go into the store, the lady behind the counter would cook up a couple of dishes for you, give you a couple of samples, or give you some coupons. You'd have the product right there. The ultimate impulse buy was happening. So now our inside events have come outside. In the past few months, the numerous challenges for all of us have been amazing, especially those of us in the event business. The event cancellations have surmounted so high that we've now all gone to virtual events, just like the one we have today. This would have been an inside, a trade show. You would have been visiting a booth, and now we're doing everything on the computer. So let's take a quick look at these levels of exposure and what the live events have to accomplish. We are dealing with the bottom one, the fifth one. Non-exposure is where we have to be on this, or we cannot execute these live events. There's still so much need for human interaction that, virtual events are great and all the online marketing is wonderful, but people need human interaction. Let's take a quick survey. Based on retail mask mandates, how do you think the time in store is affected by this policy? And whoever wins this will end up with a $15 Starbucks gift card heading their way. Do people spend 20% less time in store? Do people spend 50% less time in store? Or is time in store not affected? I'll give you just a little bit, couple more, about 30 more seconds to answer that. Again, people spend 20% less time in store. People spend 50% less time in store, or time in store is not affected. Get into the results. Yeah, 50%, absolutely. People, they're either not in the store at all, or they are spending 50% less time in store. And thanks very much for all those responses. So there's something else you have to look at seriously, and you hear about it on the news and people are talking about it. But the problem you have here is there is such a loneliness epidemic occurring. It is very, very sad, and it's not just among older people. It is among, you hear of the divorce rate going up. You actually hear people becoming closer, spending more time with their families. But the loneliness epidemic is almost of pandemic proportions. We need to take both social distancing and the social recession completely serious. So there's no stopping the social recession. It's an inevitable byproduct of our health recommendations. There are actions and policies that could ease it, but right now, for me, I don't want to go into somebody's home in case I am a carrier of the virus. The personal interaction is still vitally needed in some form, which brings me back to the events. So personal sampling campaigns starring live people allow for some good consumer engagement and provide those personal interactions. And what I'm talking about right now is we are currently in Salt Lake City, Portland, Oregon, Denver, Colorado, and Seattle, Washington. Excuse me. We are executing in-person sampling campaigns, and next month we start up in Los Angeles. And this is how these work. I'm gonna, since I don't want this to be a giant M2W Bulldog commercial, I want to show you that you can do these door-to-door sampling campaigns yourself. And they are a great way to get products into the hands of people spending so much time in their homes. So you have to set yourself up for success both with personnel and legally. You have to make sure you have a reputable and outgoing brand ambassador group, and we happen to fortunately have thousands nationwide, but we've been in business for 23 years. They have to be completely unnerved by the possibility of getting COVID. Some of the people we're using right now have already had COVID. You need to acquire the insurance. Liability insurance on these type of events is very important. These people are stepping up and down curbs. They could be struck by a vehicle, as bad as that sounds. And just the other day, one of our products, the Tivana product, is glass. It dropped out of the container and cut open our brand ambassador's foot. So whatever you do, don't ever think that you can execute these events without some sort of liability insurance. What you will expect in the field. We didn't know going into this when we started this in June. We didn't really know what to expect. Will people run from us? Would they engage with us? Would they go, oh, not today, thanks very much? Would they kick us off their front porches? So far, The response has been good, and it actually got better and better. A lot of people came to their front doors. They were so happy to see us. It was amazing. And, even some of the associates that work at the companies were receiving samples of their own products. The engagements were appreciated. And some people just said to us, no, not today. Get away from me. I'm too I'm too paranoid, and we respect that. Because a lot of these people, we are literally going up to their front doors, dropping them off. They actually see us through the window because they've got more time on their hands. We thought we would have to knock, but we don't. There's a few pictures of engagement there. Then you want to pick your market area. Do you want to be near a retailer? If you're sold at retail or supermarkets, I would suggest so. Do you want to be, if you're an online product, you're going to have us seek out the right demographic and psychographics for the products. This is often the case with the online clients. We have to really dig down deep. This happens to be on the right-hand side of the screen. Everything is mapped. So if you know that you've generated more sales on, say, a Thursday evening, and we had just distributed on Wednesday or Thursday, then we know that this neighborhood here was core because they track every move they make. I just want to point out that this door sampling is different than every door direct mail, which is the EDDM postal products. That goes to every door, and I'll be talking about that in a minute. This program, we can literally micro-target your market. So you could say, if you did this yourself, you could micro-target exactly where you know your consumers are. Then you want to pick your piece. This is the current piece on the right that we're distributing. It's called Caffeine and Quarantine. But coming up, we'll be distributing some from Burger King and a couple more from, I believe it's Tampico orange juice products. So you need to develop your piece. You need to make sure you know if it's a closed piece or an open top, how sturdy is it, can it be recycled or not. Depending on your brand ambiance is how you want to create your product. And by the way, we can do these for around $2 to $2.50 per door with a minimum of 10,000 doors. This is one that we actually did. We were doing some door-to-door sampling long before COVID came. We dropped off for Heineken. There's no beer in here, guys. Sorry, don't get excited. But in here was some apparel, some drinkware, and these were big. These were harder to handle, but this is how you build a brand at home. Door-to-door sampling will be taking place at colleges and universities, especially in the Greek towns, because some of those fraternities will not be paying that much attention to COVID. So we will be doing that in September and October, the end of August and September. We will be hitting up a lot of the colleges that are going back. And here's an example of Texas Christian University and Texas Austin. So while door drops are just one way to sample during COVID, door drops can not only sample, you can build your brand through door drops, you can get all your messaging out, you can conduct surveys through door drops as well. People would be more than willing for us to take their time to conduct a consumer survey. But let's also flash back to another mode of trial, of getting your product in the hands of the neighborhoods and people that are staying at home. You could be the social butterfly. You can give the lonely quarantine a little bit of sunshine. I know, as corny as this may sound, this is very, very real. I'm watching our door drop people, and they get off their shifts and they're like, wow, I think I made a difference today. But if you recall, 20 years ago, you used to go to your mailbox and go, what a bunch of junk mail. In fact, I still go in and I get a bunch of junk mail. I'm like, forget it. But you'd get an email and you'd be like, oh, I got an email. Now you've got so many unread emails, you just forget it. And now when you go to your mailbox, you're like, oh, I got mail. It's a totally different dynamic. Which brings me to the absolute glut of clutter that is on the internet. I'm going to read this verbatim because I want it to sink in, and I think you'll realize how much clutter there is on the internet. By the time you finish reading this sentence, there will have been 219,000 new Facebook posts, 22,800 new tweets, 7,000 apps downloaded, and about $9,000 worth of items sold on Amazon, depending on your reading speed, of course. Now that the internet is widely available, that's an understatement. Just 1 second of global online activity is jam-packed full of events, from communication with others to data storage to entertainment galore. So more people are at home, less time in public places. They've got more time to burn in front of the internet. Boredom to the nth degree, staying at home, quarantining, furloughed, job hunting, and the list goes on. So the Postal Service, their new motto is neither snow nor rain nor heat nor pandemic is going to stop these guys from delivering. So we have depended on them for some direct mail pieces, and we've combined sampling with direct mail boxes. If you recall, probably the original sample box that people paid for are things like the apron people, Blue Apron, bark boxes, things that deliver to the home that you can subscribe for to $16 to $40 per month. But you have to purchase them on a 6-month or annual basis. The smallest EDDM sampler kit that we make is actually only 3/4 inches high. It's 11 inches by 8 inches. It also holds a small book. It's a custom box, but it will be delivered to every zip code, every home inside a zip code by the postal carrier. This box is, you can put multi-products in here. It does require 10,000 piece minimum, but it's $3 each all in. And when I say all in, I mean all in. The production of the box, the artwork. If you send us camera ready art, or our creative team can also help out there. And then the fulfillment of the box and getting it into the hands of the Postal Service. People look forward to getting these in the mail. This is a larger box. You can actually put something in here that's 2 inches high. This is $4 all in. I thought I'd supply you with all, and we're not the only company that does this. So, but you know, we've done it pretty efficiently. This is the branded box, and there's 3 types of boxes that we're putting out right now. There's the Kids Fun Pack with the candy, the game. There is the Home Health Pack. You know, this would be for probably like a Cliff Bar or Blue Diamond Almonds, sanitizers, in-home health. And then we also have what is known as the Shush Shipper. This could be very personal items in the home, hair thinning shampoo, prophylactics, coupon on Depends diapers. And by the way, data from Kimberly Clark, who makes Depends, in their in-home or their business since COVID started in the adult diaper business has gone up 17%. Just a little trivia for you. Maybe that's totally stuff you don't need. And then I'd like to talk a little bit about the future of live retail events. This is when we go on site, and we are starting these again with the convenience stores are starting up again at the end of August. We do a lot in the space of franchisees, and because we need to get all that communication out to the groups. And we execute often 150 plus events in one day. So there's going to be lots of social distancing. What things will look like at retail and how to pull these off, the following guerrilla grassroots tactics. On the right, if you recognize these gentlemen, this lady and this man, they are the wavy men who stand in the parking lots at your car dealers. And I thought that was cute. Before this gets serious, you should know I like to dance naked in front of used car lots. The person here on the left is sorry, I've got a tornado warning going off right behind me. The person on the left here that is a walk-around spin wheel. For years, we watched people line up at spin wheels on tables, and I know that we lost some customers and prospects for our clients because they had to stand in line for so long. So, sorry, I'm going to wait for it. It goes away in 1 minute. So basically, we designed and invented, and we invented this. It was a spinning wheel that the person walks around with it, and it spins, and they can hand them the prize right then and there. We felt that we were able to keep more customers. We'd have it on the table game, but we'd also be able to walk around a retailer with this. This is used by quite a few of our clients. On the upper left is a walk-around moving billboard that is a backpack, and it is also a light up at night. It is used a lot in the winter when it gets dark early. The one next to that is another backpack banner. It's for branding, and they walk around, they hand out samples. In the middle here, the people with the large helium balloons on their backs, those were all often before COVID just used for trade shows, and now you'll see them a lot in consumer engagements outdoors. And of course, on the right is the traditional door hanger, door tagger. And right now you can also do the simple door tag, or you can use this and we can attach a sample to it. I mean, there's a lot of different things that can be done. Costumes. Costumes are making a huge comeback. Photo machines that you can walk around with, but you can still do social distancing and get everyone in the frame. And of course, the traditional wavy man. These are all things you're going to see on site at outdoor events. So when you have a really big CPG brand project going and you want to make a large impact, I now want to turn things over to Rod Collins, because he is the owner and the king of what we call the giant sneeze guard. Go ahead, Rod.
Well, I think it's a giant sneeze guard on wheels. So we have these glass wall display trucks, and here's an idea that Claire has brainstormed with me to produce and distribute personalized face masks inside the glass-walled vehicle. So we could have, a Santa's workshop in there, or we could have an artist inside the glass-walled trucks creating whatever it is that people are ordering. I have been involved in almost 70 events since the beginning of COVID-19, where we were in face masks and we were social distancing, but we were doing these outdoor events with our vehicles. So it's not something that I ever expected to have to rely on, but I'm fortunate to have a vehicle that is so transparent. We put the vinyl wraps on the vehicle. The picture here is a job we did pre-COVID for Airwick. And the next screen, I think we're going to have the scene inside the truck where you can see we are doing meditation classes inside the truck in the middle of New York City, probably in 4 locations a day. So the vinyl wrap helps quite a bit getting, from an out-of-home perspective, getting the message out. And there's a lot of real estate on the vehicle to have that branding, not just the colors, but the websites and the social media, et cetera, et cetera. And we also put a fair amount of branding on the glass windows, so long as it maintains transparency. So I just think it's a remarkable way to be. We've always been a hub for experiential marketing activations, but now we are a quarantine-themed hub. And as another example, last night we did our 67th at-home, we bring it to you, you stay safe, at-home dance party, where we brought a DJ to somebody's home, and we had a 15-year-old birthday party, surprise birthday party at her house yesterday, where people had a parade, the cars went by, and then the girls snuck back in, and her girlfriend snuck back and had a little bit of a dance party after the parade. These are our LED trucks, where we have digital screens posted on all 3 sides. We can also play video. With this vehicle, by the way, we can do this nationwide at the same time with multiple trucks. We can do trucks all over the country, coast to coast. And we can play video. We can play static files. We can play multiple static files that rotate however you want at 10-second intervals, 15-second intervals, etc. So we essentially give you the template. We give our clients the template. They give us the art, and we load it. If they can't do the art, then I'll hire a graphic designer for them, and they'll approve whatever it is that we're going to put on the vehicle. And then we also have the standard billboard trucks that are also remarkable because of their size. They're a little larger than most LED trucks. Again, we can do this nationwide. We can advertise for folks and generate buzz and excitement and get the word out nationwide the same days because we can access trucks coast to coast. Here's an example of the dance parties, the quarantine-themed dance parties. The DJ, the driver, the dancers were all in masks, and we're all maintaining social distances. And this has really been, I forget how fortunate I am sometimes because this has really been a pleasure. And we've had a lot of fun. We've done, like I said, we might have hit number 70 last night. And this can be done coast to coast, but we've done these in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, where we literally bring a DJ booth, sometimes a drum set, depends on what they want, and one or two dancers, and they lead the show. It's a lot of fun. Our LED trucks have started, historically we've done the advertising, just out-of-home advertising on the LED trucks. We've done a lot at birthday parties and graduations of late, but we've started to use them as mobile cinemas. And it's turned into a bit of a drive-in theater where people can either sit in their cars or if we park it strategically, they can do both. They can sit in their cars, and on the other side of the truck, they can watch a movie from the grass. And we have a DVD player that's attached to the system in the truck. You hand us the DVD that you want. On the bottom picture there, we're playing Little Giants, which I had never seen, and it was awesome, and the kids loved it. And it was at the Calvary Church, and this is just something that a lot of my associates around the country are doing. We're doing movie nights all over the country. Sometimes they're in neighborhoods, sometimes they're in parks. So speaking of movie nights, Claire has a program going on with the actual drive-in movies. So go ahead and take it away, Claire.
So getting back to getting products out in the hands of people, trial and marketing between homes and perhaps an outing, although the outings are less and less, so it's more about marketing within the home. Drive-in movies, we actually have the lady right there on the right. She can provide staffing and costumes. It's really as elaborate as you want to get. But we have a network of drive-in movie theaters across the United States. And in the 50s and 60s, they were super popular, and then they just about went, like endangered species and completely extinct. A few of them stayed open in the rural areas, but many are now operating at 50% capacity at least. They're giving out face masks, and they're enacting, their social distancing measures, and they're really making a comeback. A lot of these industries that were pretty much non-existent due to COVID are on the way back. The traditional indoor movie theaters are still shuttered. A lot of them are not open, but the drive-in movie theaters are doing well. And of course, depending on if you want costumes or the lady next door handing out your products, we can grow that as much as you want. So, for example, in Tascosa, the drive-in theater in Tascosa, Amarillo, Texas, you would pay about $750 for that one for an evening. I'm trying to give you guys some ideas of costs because everything comes down to budget and ROI. But you would just tell us where, when, and what prepackaged food sampling. We don't want to, I wouldn't recommend an Oscar Mayer for this because they do sell hot dogs at their concession stands. But anything that is prepackaged will completely work. I'm going to run a quick poll right now. How many of you are seeking new tactics, methods, or strategies to increase trial of your products? This gives us a good idea of, are you looking to increase product trial? I'm not seeking better methods, and it's not really applicable to my brand. give you a couple more minutes. And then I'm assuming, you know, based on what David Gottlieb said before this and now, you know, just the whole idea behind CPG that people are definitely looking to, maybe not so much, but 55%. So let me close poll. So what do you do with these tactics, ideas, and concepts that we've shown you today when it comes to winning more real estate ads or goodwill with your retailers? No different than when you walked in the door with your buyers and said you had trade allowance or slotting allowance, or you helped them with their marketing. You're just doing this in a different area. With less shoppers at brick and mortar, less time spent in store means less impulse purchases. It's fierce competition online, so all we're showing you is a different avenue for getting your products and your samples, because we all know what samples do. They increase sales, and that's been proven time and time again. Work with your vendors, your marketing departments, bring value to your retail buyers. They're looking for retail buyers. They have their eyes on so many other things right now. Give them easy to execute and strategic marketing plans for out of store to bring attention to in store. Oops. Do we have any questions?
We had some questions come in, Claire. Let me read out the first one. Regarding the door drop sampling, are there any cities or areas you cannot execute these sampling campaigns in?
I would say probably really super small rural America, like where I live right now, where I summer. Probably not, but probably anything larger than a Billings, Montana. So anything over 200,000 would be fine. We have enough staff out there. But we do require, you know, a 10-week, 4-week commitment and 10,000 products.
Okay. Here's sort of a nuts and bolts question. Who assembles the boxes and sample mailers?
Oh, we do. We have everyone ship everything into the warehouse, and we assemble them there. It takes about 5 to 10 days.
Okay. And what is the turnaround time on a glass truck campaign?
So the vinyl wrap can take a few days, and the build out can take a few days depending on what your needs are. And we're going to travel to get the truck to the market that you want. So I would say the physical work is less than 10 days. Okay, excellent. And the last question, what are some of the CPG brands you have worked with mobile billboards? We've done about 1,500 campaigns over the last 14 years. And I would recommend that I do some homework to answer that question and a little more intelligently. But if anyone has that specific question, please yell at me at rod@bulldogbillboards.com. Sorry, I'm caught off guard. rod@bulldogbillboards.com, and I'll get you some answers. No problem. We have your contact information coming up in the next screen. So, go ahead, Claire.
I can tell you a couple lately, just in the last few months. It's been the Hallmark Channel.
Yes.
But before that, it was Galbani Cheese, Lactalis. Who else have we worked with, Rod? You can name a couple off the top of your head. Kimberly Clark. Yeah. One. So, but so if you like, can I go on to the next slide? Sorry.
Well, there's one more question here, Claire, that just came in. If you care to answer that, can you elaborate on an upcoming college university sampling event? I
can. So the one that we're going to do is called Storm the Dorm, and it is it's not Red Bull. It's an energy drink, a power bar type of power bar, and that's pretty generic. I know that, and it's a shaving product, and it's going to be done in the dorms. And it's going to be like, hey, you're tired from moving in. we're going to help you out. And also our guys are dressed in moving apparel, like overalls. And Storm the Dorm is going to be like when the parents are there and they're moving all the kids in to the dorms, the apartments. And it's very select colleges. I mean, we're going to be in Georgia for this because Georgia's pretty wide open. And, we're not going to be in California because they're not even going back to school there. So, and then we will go out for 2 or 3 hours a day. We will go into the fraternities. We will go into the dorms with the Storm the Dorm campaign with coupons and products. Does that help? Okay. Is that enough? Do you need anything more?
Well, I didn't ask the question. One of our attendees did, so
I got it.
Yep, that was pretty complete. Thank you.
Okay,
let's see now. If we could put your contact information on the screen, Claire and Rod. That's If you want to reach out to both of them, there's the contact information, email, phone, website, their photos, everything. Anything else, Claire?
Yes. If you would like us to send you now, we cannot ship this outside of North America, but we can do the U.S. and Canada and Mexico, actually. Ready to go door-to-door sampling kits with a sample of the container, or we will ship you an M2W custom mask or gaiter, just like we showed you when we make them in the custom mask trucks. We'll be more than happy to ship those to you, but I do need your physical mailing address because I'm sure a lot of you are working from home. So you can just email me you're interested, or you can put in the chat that you are interested. Feel free to do that. And we'll go ahead and get those out to you, and we sure appreciate you taking the time to be with us today as CPG products are changing the way they go to market. And thanks very much.
Okay. Thank you, Claire and Rod. That was really very interesting and excellent. To take advantage of that offer, you can call Claire, you can email her or Rod, and I'm sure they'll take care of you right away.